Today's video stems from an innocent desire of mine to just play a very non-serious meme deck. When it comes to meme decks in this format, of course we gotta look at Volteo Blood, one of the few highlander archetypes of this game. I don't know if Volteo was ever good, but certainly it's not good in this meta, so my intention was to have a nice little meme deck that we can play, have some fun with, and get a video out of. Turns out when I started playing this deck, I found that not only was it terrible, it's also not really fun to play at all, so I just, at this point, I just have to get a video out of it since I spent so much time playing the deck that I won't feel satisfied otherwise. So here's Volteo Shadow. Let's look at the deck list we're playing first. So this is the deck list we're going to be playing for today. I just got it off the tournament winning list, so it certainly isn't original. There's a lot of cards here because Volteo is true highlander, meaning that you can't double up on any cards at all, unlike modern Mirrorbane. This is the list we'll be planning for today that I got from the tournament winning list, and it's of course built around Volteo. His fanfare is that if there's no duplicates in your deck, excluding Volteo, you can deal 5 damage to all other followers including your own, and give your leader the effect that at the end of your turn you summon an Arcane Personnel Carrier and then a random follower from your deck. You do it twice at the end of every turn, which sounds strong but really isn't that strong. There's like a few high rolls you can get with like Ruined Web Spider or Bloodsoul Archdemon, Lucifer, Goddess of Rebirth, but other than that it's like quite mediocre honestly. Certainly not worth having to turn 7 for it, and certainly not worth running a Highlander deck for it. But that's what we're doing for today, so I guess we're playing this deck. Let's look at some games. So our first game for today is against Shadow, and we are going second. This is probably going to be Last Words, which is a meta deck, which is not what we want to see when we're playing this. For the mulligan, of course, Volteo is the highest priority. Other than that though, Bloodsoul Archdemon, Eluzard, and that other 2-cost follower that has the last words to draw a card are your main priorities, and of course Ramiel if you are going second. Other than that, I don't really bother keeping anything else. There might be cases where you want to keep some of those, but for the most part, those are the cards that will help you through your early game. Eluzard is very good because once you play him, he just stays in play and keeps doing things until the end of the game. So getting him out as early as possible will give you the most value for his existence, I guess. And for the early game, it's quite straightforward. We just want to survive until we can play Volteo. We go ahead and get rid of the follower here and just trade. Maintain the Eluzard on board. There is an argument for, of course, trading him off to activate his last words to get him in rotation faster, but I think just having the board advantage is probably fine. My opponent has a pretty weak turn here with the Gramarye into the Amy. We can go ahead and use Combustion Demon to get rid of their Celeste Omega here. Deny them 2 last words to slow them down because we are already much slower than them. We don't need them getting any faster than they already are. My opponent will go ahead and use Macro Impulse here to clear my followers, which is a very weak turn from them. And if you're wondering why I'm using a game where my opponent didn't draw super well, it is because this deck has no hope of winning or even playing the game against a deck that actually draws well. So yeah, the slightly lower quality of games is something you just have to bear with for today, I guess. For now, we just have the bike here on board, so that we can use Eluzard to clear whatever they play when he comes out next turn, so that we don't have to waste our evil points. Unfortunately though, they do play Nightmare Devourer, which is more than Eluzard is able to handle on his own, so we end up just spending our Bahamut here to clear this board, which is less than ideal, but nothing much we can do about that, unfortunately. And that's now this Necro Impulse, which is very good for us because that's a very weak move and it's not even for the Necromancy effect. And they'll go ahead and use their Wicked Rebirth to summon out more followers to get their last word condition going, as well as just generate a bunch of shadows off of these Bubbly Reapers, which is pretty strong. And since we're turn 7, we can go ahead and drop Volteo here, and because Volteo's effect requires you to use basically a whole board, you can see that this Amulet, this Lucent Amulet here is in the way, so we just have this floating Arcane Personnel Carrier. In some cases you actually do want to float it, this is not one of those cases. My opponent will go ahead and use their Sark Wraith and then just drop the Gramarye here to have that Gramarye effect active, and the Evolve to clear my follower. Thankfully, Volteo still lives, so we can hopefully deal some nice damage face here. Alucard comes out as well, and he gets into the car. You can use Blood Arts to evolve him. And it'll also help to activate Seox's Skybound art here, which we can use to chip in some damage before they get their wards up with Trinity monsters or with Chris of the Pumpkin Patch, which is already active because they are at 10 last words. We can poke them in the face here as well. The main goal is for them to not heal, so we can just play Boom Devil to kill them. But there's the Trinity monster, Invincible monster trio, sorry. And then they have the Chris as well, so pretty scary board here. And they use the Amy to clear the Chris. As long as they don't heal though, we don't really care what they do, so I guess we just hope for that. Thankfully, the last words actually did hit the Volteo here, so they can't heal because there's no way for them to destroy their own followers to activate the Fabled Treasure. So we are able to stop them from healing, so we just drop the Boom Devil for a lethal. So that's 8 for this game. Let's move on to the next one. Our next game here is against Dragon, and we are going second once again. It's probably hard to find games against meta decks because I just get steamrolled most of the time, but here we have another one. So we go ahead and just keep the Volteo and toss the rest, pick out a Ramia, which is very good, especially against Dragon. We need Volteo and all our other stuff active as soon as possible, so being able to ramp here is very nice. And my opponent doesn't have anything to do on turn 2, which is of course very good for us. We can go ahead and use Showdown Demon here, go into our deck more. Boom Devil is very valuable, so we want to keep the Boom Devil. My opponent will try the Quixotic Adventurer, which is fine. It's like one turn late, so they probably top decked it. We'll go ahead and drop the Roulette Vampire here, and we just want to minimize damage as much as possible, so we do trade here. My opponent will drop the Razia to buff it, which is slightly annoying, but we do have Ramia to clear it while ramping, so that is fine. This Crab's Devil, ideally you want it to come out from the deck with Volteo's effect so you can heal off of it, but for some reason I always draw it, so we have to see if we can get a heal out of it at some point. There's the Roy, which will let my opponent ramp some more, which is fine because it's not damage coming to our face, so we're not super worried there. We got the Netherworld Executioner, the one good card in this deck probably. Evolves for free and gets a ton of stats along the way. And even trade over Roy. And we can just put a Goblin Queen behind it. No particular reason, the Goblin Queen is probably gonna die, but you know, maybe the Goblins will come in handy at some point. Opponent will drop the Tiamat into a Reggie, and they will evolve the Reggie to hit us in the face, which is not good because we take a lot of damage. And we don't like taking damage. We're down to 11 though, so we're not quite in Gandagoza range though, which is fine. I will go ahead and just drop the Volteo here just to clear the board and get Volteo active. You can see here we floated one Arcane Carrier here, which we can later use on the Crab's Devil to heal up. My opponent will drop the Quixotic Adventurer into Georgius. Pretty weak turn from them, so we are definitely happy to see that. And then we'll go ahead and trade. We're definitely taking this opportunity to heal up with the Crab's Devil. If you're in Vengeance, it always heals 6, which is very strong. We can heal all the way back up to 15. Then we just use the Flame and Glass Belt to clear their board. Drop an Alucard since we already have 2 board spaces filled up. Playing one more follower won't actually affect that much. We lose 1 Arcane Personnel Carrier, which is probably not too big a deal in the grand scheme of things. And my opponent can't answer this board, so they conceded. So this time we're going first against Haven, and I think this is probably close to an ideal game for this deck. So that's why it's called Vampiric Bloodbinder. This card's good because she draws, and you do want to draw. Because Volteo summons followers from your deck, these cheap followers that cycle are quite good to keep early on because then you can get them out of the deck, so Volteo will summon more useful things. My opponent drops the Anvelt here. We're just gonna go ahead and drop Alucard with the expectation that my opponent's just gonna banish it probably, but there's not much we can do about that. So surprisingly, Alucard survives. They drop this bird, which is something I guess we can just use Archangel to banish that and hit them in the face. My opponent drops the Unicorn Altar at this point. And they will pass as well. A bit strange, looking like some kind of Amulet deck at this point. You just drop the Bloodbinder here to heal, and then the Crab's Devil can deal with a big follower if they decide to play one. They do crystallize the Sacred Groundskeeper here and the summon Pegasus as well and pass. So at this point it's pretty clear this is the move of someone who's playing Selena. So I guess we can expect that. We just take this opportunity to put a big follower back into our deck with the Archangel of Remembrance, draw more cards to hopefully have something better to do this turn. Ramiel's pretty nice, we can just go ahead and put her on board and then just punch my opponent in the face. And there's the Selena from my opponent, which will activate all of their amulets now for a big little turn here. Heal a bit as well. And then with Haven Fire, they can clear my board enough to get themselves out of lethal range, but we just top deck lethal here. Oh, we don't. Hold on. It'll be in a moment. There's the lethal. So as you can see, the ideal game for Volteo is of course winning the game before you even get to play Volteo. So that's it for this game as well. So those are all the games I have for you today. Honestly, I'm usually a sucker for meme decks, but this one just doesn't do it for me. It's just like, it doesn't feel fun to play even when Volteo's active. So yeah, hopefully, I mean, I thought that was particularly enjoyable, but hopefully it gave you an idea of how this deck works. Normally this is the part where I say give it a try if you think it looks fun, but this is where I say probably don't try it unless you already have these cards, or just like make the deck out of the cards you do have if you really want to, because I don't really think it's worth it. It's not that fun. Anyway, hopefully next deck will be more fun. Anyway, that's it for today. See you next time. Bye bye.